Let's see. Are we live? Debster, are we live?
Think we are live, so just waiting for that notification on Facebook.
Hello, peoples.
There it is.
Yeah. What is up, everyone? How you guys all doing today? How you guys all doing today? Woo, we love you.
We do need to incorporate some buttons. We need to get some buttons.
Yeah,
Some
Daniel.
claps. Some
We're so happy you're here. Yay. Hope everyone's having an amazing Monday. I've got my mouth. I should probably spit it out. But if you're in Canada, we have a long weekend. So some people are on the long weekend break. I know for a good chunk of the world, I think Canada has like the most
holidays.
holidays
In the world. Yeah.
in the world.
What I was talking to my mom about that. She's like, "Oh, it's a long weekend." I was like, "It's a long weekend?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "Well, what is it?" She's like, "It's a civic holiday." I was like, "Oh, so it's not a real holiday." She's like, "No, no, it's a real holiday. Like, whatever civic holiday is, right?"
So funny. So funny. 1 second.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's it's I went to the gym this morning at about 9 or 8:30,
Mm.
and the gym's packed. I just feel like I just feel like there's different lifestyles of people. We obviously work. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, you run by your own rules. Like I don't feel like I operate based on the rules of how the society is run. Like I understand it's a holiday, but stores aren't closed. I did enjoy my weekend, and I just found out, Devyn,
Mm.
that the Drake show has been canceled.
I heard, man, and you
Oh,
were going to that too, right? Or
I was going to that today, which kind of sucks, man, but it is what it is.
Mm.
Um, to me, I look at everything like an opportunity. There's a lot of projects that I need to get done now, so now I can like fully focus on that. It's just because my calendar is fairly open today. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing. I'm re-recording some content for my coaching program, and but in this video or in this live, I'm going to be covering 5 mistakes coaches make when building their coaching business, and the things that have worked for me. And yeah, I just what has allowed me to create sanity in my life.
Mm.
And after running coaching business for the last just over 2 years now, actually 2 years ago today is when I was, not exactly today, but 2 years ago this month is when I launched my first coaching program. It's pretty
in
cool.
August. Yeah.
August 20th, matter of fact. So, but yes, if you guys are watching this on the live, come say what up in the comment section below. But Devyn, any questions from you, sir?
No questions, but I do like what you said, ultimately, I think a lot of us, we decided to become an entrepreneur. We decided to run our own business because, we have a lot of big goals and big dreams. And especially, for me, and I know for you as well, like if you want to be, a top 1% earner in Canada, one, it's not actually as hard as people think, once you actually know the actual numbers. But two, you have to, at some level, do the opposite of what, like you said, the what the masses are doing, right? So masses today, oh, drinking, hanging out, no worries, right? For
Yeah,
us, consistent as ever on these shows,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. And I'm very big on like I'm totally fine with going out and enjoying myself.
mhm.
But I think the way that I operate is I enjoy myself when we win, when there's a celebration, right? When the lifestyle that, for example, me and Devyn live, and obviously the people on our team, and for the coaches that are watching this and the entrepreneurs, you build your own schedule. So while some people have to go to work, maybe Wednesday, they have to be at work 2 p.m. on Wednesday.
Mhm.
If you have a major win, you could basically do whatever you want on that day. So some people, I take off maybe a Tuesday, some people, and then I'll work maybe a Saturday or Sunday. And so there's a different lifestyle, different way of looking at the world. But I'm very big on you work and then you celebrate. You work and then you celebrate. Whereas a lot of people, it's more or less people are just celebrating for the weekends. So I think it's just a different lifestyle. I was talking with my aunts and uncles yesterday, and they were just saying, like, they're like, I commend you for the lifestyle that you live. It's
Mhm.
different. It's not how we live, but you're bred a certain way. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I've been in this world for the last 10 years of living that entrepreneur type of lifestyle, whether I was an entrepreneur within a company, so I was an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
but that whole lifestyle, that's just who I am now. And so I think Devin, I think you're very similar to that as well.
Yeah, not nearly, at the degree where you are, because I feel like, even when we first met back, in 2019, like at that point, you'd still already been living on commission only for like the last 5 to 7 years. For me,
Yeah.
I just came from, an hourly salary job, right? So for you, and I think, we didn't get to that part, but on the last Q&A last Friday, but bro, like, you've been seriously killing it. Like you've been living commission only, as a six-figure earner for the last couple of years. And again, like we talked about in the entrepreneurial site, it's like, oh, I had a big month or I had a big week, but it's like, okay, great. Well, what did you do for the quarter? What did you do for the year?
Yeah.
Right. So you've been living that for a long time and your
Yeah.
results, they say the same.
Yeah. I mean, and I love this. Like this is what I live for. This
Hmm.
is this is what I believe gives men, just from my perspective, purpose, right? Like I get up and I have purpose.
Hmm.
And I think happiness comes from that. Like my happiness comes from me going after my goals, going after my purpose, going after the big things in life. That's what gives me the energy to like, set these big goals and stay committed to them.
Hmm.
And so that's why, sure, on a Monday at 12 o'clock, we don't have to do this, but I do this because I love it. And I know it's needed. It's like building a muscle. Sometimes you don't want to show up on live. Sometimes you don't want to do these things. But I know over time, it just gets ingrained in you. So for everyone even listening, or for everyone even whether you're watching this on the live or on the replay, it's you have to understand you have to do the things that no one wants to do. You
Hmm.
have to do just the basics over and over and over and over and over again. And that's how I live my life. Like a master is a master of the basics. And so to really become a master, it's about spending hours doing this. So my goal, and me and Devin have both committed to this. I guess I'm just dragging Devin along.
I'm committed. I'm committed.
is like we have set the expectation to do a live every single day from 12 to 1. And I know that these lives will get better. And I know that ideas will come from this. I know that muscles will be built from this. I know that we can serve you guys at the highest level. So we do 4 shows a week here, and then 1 show in our other Speaking with Confidence group. So, but yes, let's get into it, Mr. Debster. So what are the 5, if you guys are taking notes, what are the 5 mistakes coaches make and why they stay stagnant for so long? So let's get into it. So if you guys are taking notes, these are the 5 things. And Devin, if you want to write them down actually in the comment section,
Sure.
people can kind of review them later. So number 1, if you want to write this down, is no strategy. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is they don't track the numbers. Okay. Number 3, they try to sell multiple programs at once, where this you just really just focus on one to make one really successful. Number 4, they try to figure out everything on their own. And then number 5 is they're scared to ask for the sale. And that's where they have to level up their sales skills. Okay. Those are the 5 things. I'm breaking down each one. So number 1, no strategy. They don't have a solid strategy in place to get high ticket leads to really convert them. Number 2, they don't track their numbers of their business. Number 3, they try to sell multiple programs at once or multiple different products at once. Right. Number 4, they try to figure out everything on their own. And number 5 is they're scared to ask for the sale, but really it's their ability to sell needs work. Okay. So let's get into it, peeps. Okay. So number 1, no strategy. So what do I mean by that? Well, you need to have, if you're a coach and you're listening, you need to have a 90-day strategy that you are committed to. So if you don't have a strategy on specifically marketing, so what is our strategy that we're doing? So I kind of have my Master Your Stutter coaching program, and it's almost on. I've kind of built it out where not that it runs on its own, but it's kind of there. So a lot of my focus is on the coaching on this program here and this community. But my strategy is very simple. It is basically organic marketing with a lead magnet funnel. And our goal is to just book as many calls as possible to grow this program. And really the only platforms I'm committed to is Facebook and maybe Instagram. And then obviously we do emails as well. And so that is the strategy that we're focused on. We're not doing 10 different things at once. And we're committed to one strategy, and we're going to make that strategy work. Make that strategy work. And so for you guys, my question to you, and if you have questions on that, ask down below. But my question to you is, do you have a strategy set in place? Like we have August, September, and October set. I mean, you can say we almost have November and December set already, but we have a strategy that we've committed to. And all we're doing is we know what to do. So I have a lead magnet, which is my free guide, right? So here, I'll kind of show you guys right now. All right.
And then this is the 5 reasons your business isn't working. That's the title.
No, it's five mistakes coaches make.
Gotcha.
Okay. I think it's in the title. Okay. So, coaching, 1 second. Secrets. So what I have right now, guys, is I have a lead magnet. This is my strategy. I'm going to share with you guys all the secrets. This is my strategy. So I have a free guide and I run traffic to this free guide. That's it. And from that free guide, people come join our Facebook group. And then we also do organic marketing as well. That's it. I mean, that's really what the hybrid model is. And that's what's worked for me. And then we're going to grow this and probably do a live training or a live webinar, probably in a couple months. That's it. And so when I talk to a lot of coaches and I go, what is your strategy? Let me go back over here. What is your strategy for growing your leads list? What is your strategy to get high ticket leads in the door? And if you don't know that, that's a problem. And that's where a lot of coaches get stuck and they see all these shiny things, right? They go, okay, I'll just do TikTok. Okay, I'll just make reels. Okay, I'll just do this one thing. And so you need to find one strategy and commit to it. And this is overall in life, right? Just like when people come in, like let's just take my stuttering coaching business, right? When I work with people, I go, look, this is the one strategy that you're applying right now. We're not going to apply 10 different strategies. All we're going to apply is we're going to apply the public speaking method that I've built. Don't try to do complex breathing methods. Don't try to do a bunch of different types of speech therapy. You can down the road, but for right now, we're committing to this. And so so in my stuttering coaching business, it's a step-by-step process and it's one strategy. Does that make sense, Devyn?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And we were even talking about this on Thursday, right? It's like, again, the quote of the day from Thursday, diluted focus equals diluted results. With us, the reason we found so much success with our clients is because we have, a one foundation, we have one kind of, principle that they go through, and then they master that. And then, like you said, it's like we're not opposing, other forms of, growth or any other forms of activity to allow them to grow. But at least to begin, like to start your journey, you have to really get good at something rather than so many things. And so, yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah. And again, that's my question to you guys is, do you have one strategy that you are committing to and mastering to get you leads? If you don't, you're going to stay stuck for a long time and you're going to see the shiny syndrome. You're going to have the shiny syndrome. If that's the word, squirrel, it's like over here, over there, over here, over there. Mm-hmm. You want to say, okay, I'm going to do my research. I'm going to find a strategy that works. I'm going to commit to it and I'm going to master it. And so this is the strategy that I've used. It's worked very well for me. And it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I think as people, we always want, like, we always try to, we always complicate things than for what it really needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when you keep it simple, right, just do that and then get really good at that. Right. That's, I hope you guys can understand this concept here, which is a master of the basics. Find a basic and master it. And that means doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Like, if you think about it, right? So my strategy is, lead magnet to Facebook group. And then you nurture and you give value to people through organic marketing as well. We just master that. There's nothing else that we're doing. And we get really good at that. You add things down the road later, but just master that right now. And so I've had, for example, in my stuttering business, we had close to 4,000 people download my free guide. We've had many clients come from that. And so I just apply the same thing over here. And you don't try to complicate it. Okay. So if you don't have that, you don't have a strategy set in place that you are committing to for at least 90 days, at least 60 days, then you can get yourself stuck. So that's number one. Okay. Let's go to number two. Number two is this: track your numbers. Okay. So if you take notes, this is my favorite line. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Okay. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So the question you have to ask yourself is this: what are the senior numbers to be successful to grow a coaching program, to grow a coaching business? What are those senior numbers? So one senior number for me is, the top tier is this: how many book calls and how many sales are we making? Okay. So before the sales, right? Let's not even talk about sales. How many book calls are you getting every single day or every single week? So a thriving coaching business, right? You could have all these different excuses, but a thriving coaching business has at least, anywhere from 3 to 5 book calls a day. A high ticket coaching business, or we're talking about high ticket coaching business, right? Or at least maybe when you're starting out, 1 book call a day. So that means we need to aim for 7 book calls a day. That's it. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You get this, the story is in the numbers. Mm-hmm. And so whenever I work with someone, it's always like, what are your numbers? Because the numbers is then we start to tweak. So even for us, I track everything. So I track how many people are on our email list, how many people are viewing, and then you get even more detailed, right? You start to go deeper. And that's why at the beginning, you just keep it basic, but then you can start going deeper, right? We track our stats on YouTube, right? So how many views did we get today? How many new subscribers did we get today? Right. Another one could be, how many people opted into our free guide? How do we get more opt-ins to our free guide? How many new Facebook members do we get? And so you have to know these numbers. What are the numbers for what is important for you? And this is where you remove the emotion and you look at the numbers for what it is. Okay, great. What are the things that I want to track every single day? Because that paints the story. And this is where you can see if the business is going like this or like this. Right. So if you're hypothetically posting content, initially you might not get a lot of likes. So maybe one number that you have to track is, am I posting every single day? Posting something, right? Because the pressure of I need to have viral content or content that gets 300 likes, that will stress you out so much that you're like, I'm not even going to post it.
You're right. Yes.
Right. So initially, the first thing that you have to commit to is the number I'm going to track is that am I posting once a day to break the noise? That's it. Every single day. One. You do that over and over and over and over again. Right. And then you can start going deeper. It's and then you can start tracking this this stuff, right? Which post did the best? Okay, great. We see the numbers. We see the likes and the comments of this one. Great. Let's repeat that again. That was a spike in success. So then we take that and we duplicate that. We take that what works, and that's how you better a business. So as a consultant, this is what I do. Whenever I work with anyone, show me the numbers. Right. So when I used to work with salespeople, how many doors did you knock today? Don't give me the story of, well, it was a tough neighborhood and blah, 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 the weather sucks. No. Just give me the numbers. How many doors did you knock? And how many conversations did you have? How many presentations did you do inside the home? Because that gives me the story. Mm-hmm. And so when you're trying to book calls, okay, great. How many conversations do we have today? Right? If you're appointment setting, right? How many conversations did you have today? How many people did you give the link to? Right? These are the numbers that you track. So I'm not going to give you a super detailed overview right now, but I want you guys to think about these concepts. Are you tracking numbers in your business? Because those numbers tell the story of if you're going up, if you're going down. And so if every single day I ask you, I'm like, well, how many links for your calendar leads for someone to book a call? How many links did you give out today? Well, I don't really know. I think a couple. Okay, but what is that? What's a couple? Is a couple one? Is a couple three? Is a couple two? Right? And then the real thing is you can't just have 4 conversations a day. We got to bump those numbers up. Right? So this is the other part. And that's why, to me, it's a great reminder for myself, is a successful business, a chaotic business, and a non-chaotic business tracks numbers and reviews numbers. When I was an executive or director, whatever you want to call me, that's all we did. We just tracked the numbers. Because you can buy into, well, I think that person's working really hard. That person isn't working really hard. I think this person is really good. I think this person is, you can have whatever thought and whatever gut reaction, which is fine, towards a situation, but the numbers don't lie. And so when you're bad, when you're new, you have to do more. You have to increase the numbers, right? So in door to door, right? I knew that to make one sale when I first began, I had to knock 100 doors. I had to have 30 conversations because I wasn't good. I didn't understand the patterns of what a buyer was, what to say, what to do. So I knew that the only way for me to get better is by volume. And then over time, I was like, now I only have to knock 50 doors to make one sale. I only need to have 15 conversations to make one sale because I'm better. And so, and then you get to a place where all you got to do is, like I got to a place where I was knocking 5 or 6 doors, having 2-3 conversations, and I made a sale. Sometimes you knock 1 door and you make a sale. Mm-hmm. Because you're so much better. You can recognize a buyer, you can recognize the pattern, you know the script, you know the presentation, you know the closing lines, you know the objections, you know what to say, you know how to handle everything. And so initially at the beginning, that means more volume on everything. Right? Maybe if you're doing organic marketing, right, to really get your things off the ground, right? Why did I get that notification? It's so weird. But to get your things off the ground, you have to do more. And so that means, if your engagement isn't good on posts, and your goal right now, especially when you're first starting off, is to be consistent with your posting, your content might suck. It's fine. The cool thing is we live in a when you're in this space, when you post something, the marketplace is going to tell you whether it's good or not. Period. They're going to say, this is what we like, this is what we don't like. And then you just get really good at that stuff. And then you just tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak. And so that's why for you guys, number 2, what are your numbers? First off, what are your senior things that you want to track? Don't have to track everything, right? I used to get very minute until like, what hours was I working? How many hours did I sleep? How much water did I drink? Because the numbers gives you the story of the person. Everything else is just talk. So hope that makes sense. Maybe what I'll do down the road is I'll come out with a training and I'll give you guys a breakdown of what numbers are very senior. If you would like that, comment down below me. And I would kind of love to hear it. Devin, if there's ever any questions, I know it's a Monday and on a long weekend, so I don't expect too many people to be on. But if you guys are watching this, come say what up.
Of course, yeah.
Oh,
Like,
we got some people here. Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Well, most of it's me, but we do have
Whoa.
Miss Panta as well.
Yeah,
As
Justin, what's
consistent
up,
too.
man? Jacqueline, Devin, you gotta let me know if people are on live. Sometimes I'm like, am I just talking to a screen right now?
Well, nobody's commenting, so it's hard to know.
Yeah,
Right?
I
We got to
love
get
that.
those comments in
I
there.
love that. Cool. If that makes sense, guys, track numbers was a game changer for us. Also, I want to shout out Panta for having almost an $18,000 a month today. She's one of our clients, her and Fouad. So I want to say congratulations to you guys. Cool. Okay, let's keep on going, peeps. So number 3, which is one program at a time, meaning you got to sell one thing at a time until you get really good. I really believe, especially in the high ticket game, you need to come up with one program and make that thing work. Just make it work. So what a lot of people do, and you'd be like, but Daniel, aren't you selling multiple programs? Yes, but I did one program for 2 years and I made it work. It wasn't a half-ass thing. It's all I focused on. Right. And then I'm at a place right now where I have a team behind me that can support me. So the third one is sell one thing. So if you're a coach and whether you're starting off, whether you're not, so let's take Panta as an example, right? Panta, the one thing that she's doing right now is the Airbnb business, and she's making that work, and she's tracking her numbers, and she's getting really good at mastering the art of getting a client and getting them success. One thing, one product, right? She's not at the same time, also learning crypto on the side, or also trying to sell, some other, Airbnb course and try to do all these different things, right? Even though I've brought it up before, I'm like, you should come out with Airbnb coaching down the road, which we're going to blow that up for you, but not right now. You need to make that thing work. And then truthfully, what you should do is get that to a place where it runs without you at some level. That's the goal for all business owners. You're not really, like, I'm not really a business owner yet. I run the operations, right? But a real business owner is something where it runs whether you're there or not. Cash is coming in whether it's there or not. Clients are getting results whether you're there or not. And that is the goal. But initially, you need to sell one thing at a time. So let's just go back to me. Okay. I had my Master Your Stutter program, and we've done that for about 2 years. That's all I focused on. And I wasn't at the same time coming out with a book and selling this program. I wasn't selling a course and my coaching program. I wasn't selling all these different things plus my coaching program. It's too much of a headache. And what happens is you have a bunch of half-assed things. You have a bunch of products and marketing that is scattered and chaotic, right? So you need to do one thing at a time, right? And get really, really, really good at that. You need to market one program and master that. Because there's a lot of work, there's a lot of complexities in just building a great program and ensuring client success, ensuring how to get leads in the door, ensuring the sales process. So you don't need to do that times 3. You do that just times 1. One program, master that, get really good at going from cold lead to warm to hot lead, to jumping onto a call, to purchasing the program, to doing the actual course, and to getting the result. Cold lead to someone getting a result. One thing. Master that. And so that's why if you're starting from scratch, the thing you got to do right now is say, okay, what is the one thing that I'm going to sell and double down on, triple down on, 10x down on, and just get really, 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 really good at that. Like for me, we have our stuttering program and we have our coaching program, but I'm just focusing on the coaching program right now. It's hard to really send out 2 messages at once. right? We still have people joining our Master Your Stutter program because we've done that for so long. But the focus is what this is right now. And again, different levels. Don't compare your chapter 1 to our chapter 6. Right? Just like for me, there's people doing 20, 30, $50 million that has 20 products, right? But I'm at chapter 6 right now. I'm not at chapter 20, right? And so that is my one piece of advice. So for Panta, she did, congratulations again, 18 grand in cash collected this month. Awesome. Bring it up to 50 grand cash collected. Bring it up to 70 grand cash collected. Then really get to a place where the low value things, you can give that to someone else because now you have money, right? So initially, when you don't have money, you trade a lot of time, right? But after that, when you have money, then what you do is you take time and you put it and you pay someone to do it, right? Like what Devyn does, Devyn onboards clients. Like I shouldn't be onboarding clients. That's Devyn's role now, but I have to pay Devyn for that, right? So I make less money, hypothetically, right? But I can focus on higher value things like sales calls and better marketing and better product creation, right? And so that is number 3. Choose one thing and double down on that. Cool. Hopefully you guys are learning and getting a lot of value from this. I love seeing people on live and yeah, I love it, guys. What's up? Come say what up in the comment section below if you guys are watching this. Awesome. Let's do it. Okay. Number 4, which is, okay, figuring it out on your own. And so this is a line of like, here we go, Daniel, always trying to pitch us, always trying to sell us. No, this is just a way I live in life. Like it just, especially as entrepreneurs, we're very, very, very independent. But then sometimes we hit a stage, some people it's sooner, some people it's later, where it's like, okay, I've been banging my head against the wall. I don't know what to do. And that's totally fine to say that. But number 4 is the best thing you could do is have 3 types of friends, 3 types of people in your life, right? It's the law of 33. Devyn, if you remember this, right? So 33% of your time you should spend with people that you're mentoring, right? You're the mentor and you're teaching others. I think that's a healthy place to be. If you're starting off, you're like, oh, I can't, then fine. But 33%. The next thing, you should spend 33% of time with people at your level. So I have my buddy Andrew, and we spent a good chunk of time this weekend just chatting and masterminding and just having a good time. And so I would say he's almost at my level, and we've been friends for 10 years and we almost like push each other. But then there's a third where you get mentorship from other people. And I think what a lot of people don't have is that next level to guide you and especially from someone who's already, where you want to be. Because if you think about it, when you take advice from someone who is in the shoes that you want to be in, that person can see things that you can't. You have blind spots that you can't see. And saying that I have blind spots is a very humbling thing, you get rid of the ego. It's coming down to the point of like, there's things that I just don't know. Right. And if you can get to there sooner, it's so much better for you. Right. That's why I've invested into $30,000 masterminds, period. Because I know there's something that I don't know and I want to learn from that. I want to understand what that is. It's going to give me the insight, right, of the things that I just won't know and the people around me don't know either. And so when you're starting off, sure, go crazy, take a lot of action. But if you can, fix that learning curve by getting help, and this is not just in business, this is in life. This is why I have my personal trainer, right? This is why I have a Spanish teacher, right? This is like, I believe in this stuff because they're going to speed up the learning curve. And even if I have to go into debt. I know it's like, oh my God, why go into debt? I'm going to join it at the perfect time ever. Is because like I've done that in the past. And as I get older, it's like, first off, you can't take money with you. Like you can't. And at the second time, it's like, it's what's called opportunity cost. It's like you waiting, you're missing out on opportunity. Whereas our job is to use money in our advantage to go and get it, to go and get something done. It's like the person who goes, well, I really want to join your stuttering program, but I don't have the money. I know, but you not joining this program is the reason why you're not landing the dream job that you want. And you're missing out on so much on getting that dream job and making the extra 20, 30 grand a year. So like, what is like, you're going to wait 6 months, but you could have got a job within that 6 months that would have paid you 20 grand more a year because you don't want to take a risk. It's like, so there's what's called opportunity cost. And that's why for everyone here, it's like, I get it. At the beginning, you're like, da, 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 da. There's beliefs you have to break within yourself. And I can't break them for you. You have to break them. Like back in the day, I thought spending $5,000 on a course was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Likewise.
Oh my God. I remember back in the day, I'm like, I'm just spending $100 on this book set. That's enough. That's good enough. Right now, I'm at a place where it's like, and now I'm at a place where I'm like, if someone gave me a $5,000 course, why is it so cheap? Right? Like, because I'll buy it, I'll get into it, but I feel like there's things that are missing that and that's why I'll go for the higher ticket one. Right. And sometimes people just need time for that. And that's totally fine. Take your time, but understand that if you're going to go on this journey by yourself, you're going to be wasting a lot of time. And sometimes you got to, just as a reminder, we're all going to die one day, right? The things you did, no one's going to give a shit about in 20 years from now. I mean, unless you create something crazy, but still, like, you got one life from what I understand. There could be multiple lives, but you got one life, and it's like, dude, like our job is to just move as quick as possible. And sometimes making these investments. And again, that's the idea of studying success. I'm always big on studying biographies and studying the ultra successful and the ultra wealthy. It's like what they did to get there. And what they did to get there is they looked for people of high value and they studied and they made that commitment. There's some people where they're like, I'll just work for free for you. And that's one way. Other people are like, I'm going to pay whatever it costs. Right? Because I know that at the end of the day, it will speed up the learning curve and I will get to where I want to get to. So I really hope I'm making my point clear here. And that's why it's like, I think Panta's another great example because, I'm not sure if she's still on live, but it's a great example of like, she was struggling with her speech for so many years. And after 30 or 60 days, it was like, boom. And so she went through all this pain for so many years. Right. And she made one decision that scared the hell out of her. And trust me, it wasn't like sure, Daniel, let's do this. It was, I had to nudge Pant a little bit. Right. And so that's why look at life from, okay, maybe I'm not ready right now, but I'm going to make it happen because I know I can't do this by myself forever. And that's, if you're a coach, you should understand that. Right. It's like, how can you convince someone else to make a decision that is very uncomfortable, hypothetically, potentially going into that, potentially spending money you don't want to spend, if you don't do it yourself? Period. That's where my confidence and conviction comes from. So someone goes, oh, well, I don't know. I don't think I can do it. Well, it's too expensive. Like, I go, so what? Like, I figured it out. And I didn't come from super wealthy parents and everything was, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but it was important enough. And I figured it the fuck out. And so when you have that mindset, I think that's the difference between successful coaches and unsuccessful coaches. They're willing to get uncomfortable. And that's where you get the confidence. I've also found of like, when you make investments into yourself, you show up differently. So I remember when I made this big investment, I was like, shit and bricks. I was so scared. But then my next sales call, it was like they bought instantly because they bought into my confidence and my conviction. Because how can I convince someone to do something if I can't do it myself? So I'm always doing these things to push the barriers within me. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next one. What is number 5? Number 5 is scared to ask for the sale. So scared to ask for the sale. This really, in very simple terms, is everyone needs to better their sales skills. Right? Like everyone needs to, 1 second. Like you're probably a great coach. Like part of what I do, like I shouldn't be like getting you to become a better coach. I mean, I'm probably going to be showing you how to like have some tips on how to coach people better and get people better results. But that isn't my job whenever I work with a coach. My job is really to get them leads and to get them sales and to increase the revenue in their business, how to get more acquisition. Now, one thing that is needed is bettering your sales skills and making sales training a priority. There's a reason why there's a lot of, if you study a lot of successful people, and I say this from a lot, like it's crazy the trend. A lot of successful people came from, talk about successful entrepreneurs, successful business owners, successful came from someone who learned the sales game, right? Jessie Itzler, what's her wife's name again? Sarah, the owner of Spanx. What's her name again? Yeah, I know, right? What's her name? I think that is a great example because she's a billionaire, right? The owner of Spanx. Her name is Sarah Blakely. So this is her right here. So her name is Sarah Blakely, right? Sarah Blakely. What's Sarah Blakely's net worth? Does it say over here? Sarah Blakely net worth. That's crazy. $1.1 billion. Okay. Sarah Blakely did door to door, right? For 7 years. She sold fax machines for 7 years. Right. And you can see this long list with a lot of people. And so she's a great example of, she sold Xerox for 7 years. And what I realized is a lot of successful people have a sales background. And because what sales does is it teaches you the psychology of how people think. So the reason why I was able to go from a sales job to go into a marketing role and an entrepreneur role and a coaching role pretty easy per se is because I had a whole background on how people thought and how to build trust and how to get people to make decisions and how to over deliver on that and how to build the routine personally as an entrepreneur. And so for you, if you don't have that, you're like, well, Daniel, I've just worked, an admin job or a corporate job, or I don't really have too much experience. Then you need to learn sales training, because we can show you how to put book calls on the calendar. But if we're getting you book calls on the calendar, but you don't know how to sell them and how to know what to say, and we can teach you the script, you're going to be stagnant because the buyers are going to show up, but you're not going to know how to actually get them to make a decision. Right? And so for you, you have to commit to sales training. And if that means go buy the book, Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone, you go buy that book. If that means watching videos on Dan Locke, I'm sure I'll do sales trainings from my end. Something, right? Is making sales mastery a priority in your life. And so, again, you're probably a great coach. You probably have the biggest heart. You probably know how to help people. But that's, not even half the battle. It might be less than half the battle. A good chunk of the battle is getting the right people's attention and knowing how to get them to make a decision. You got to be a great coach. But to even coach someone, you have to convince someone of why they need to work with you first. And so that's why sales is the ultimate thing that You need to learn. How are those 5 things, Devin?
Well, honestly, for everybody that was listening, I feel like there should be some fire emojis because there's so many things that actually, tangible that you can take away. Now, obviously, I just want to go through and just say a couple things just right off the very bat. Just going through the list. I don't know if you had a structure or how you want to do this, but I think with every point there was something crucial that needed to be heard again. So I'm just gonna go through and just hear all that and just say that. So the first step with no strategy, like having a 60 to 90-day plan to keep yourself focused and like keep on track. Like that's so key, and that ties into the numbers. And I'm so glad that you brought up like the door to door thing because no matter the industry, like no matter what you do, like there's always numbers as you have to find out those numbers and then get clear with them. And the clearer you can get, like the better you become at it. It's just simple as. And even with door to door, people think, oh, you're just knocking doors. No, like no, like how many doors are you knocking? How many conversations are you talking to? Like what times of the day? Like there's so many things to consider, but you don't get that far of like times of the day, what time people are coming home. Like you don't become like an expert really good at it until you track the basics, right? So like how many people are you talking to? And like you said, like once you get better at it, you have to talk to less people. Like your numbers, right? We used to talk about it all the time in the office. Yeah, how many people you gotta talk to today? Oh yeah, I gotta talk to 30 people today. And you know that number. You're running towards talking to 30 people. You get that number, you get it, it's just clear, and you work towards that. Right, with the third thing, having too many options, you said something that was so important here, which is that you have to focus on one thing at one time all the time. Now, with us, because we have the two programs, you said it yourself, you're focusing more on the coaching. So yeah, we do have the master stutter, but that's not your main focus, right? If it was, then something's being half-assed somewhere. Right.
Mhm.
So the fact that the coaching is your main priority, it's like, look, what you've done is you created this master starter program. You had it like available, ready, growing, accumulating revenue on a monthly basis for the last 2 years. Then you bought a team. Now your team takes over that and it gives you the ability to then focus on the things that are more important, like you said. So now that, you have me, I run a lot of the coaching calls. I do all the success, client success. Like I do all that. I do all the onboarding, everything that we got to do. It allows you to really focus on this. If we didn't have that or you're still doing this on your own, it'd be very difficult to try and focus on the coaching when you're doing it by yourself. So I'm so glad that you did point that out because for people who don't put that together, they might think, oh, you're still trying to do both. You're not, right? Like you've excelled, you focused on the stuttering for 2 years, all in on that. Now you're focusing on this, all in on this. So I just wanted to really reiterate that for anybody that may have missed it. The next part with the guidance, like, bro, like again, like you're a coach, Dan, you're a coach, and you get coaches. Like you have a fitness coach that, you're arguably in the best shape of your life. You have, a Spanish coach. Now your Spanish is doing better than ever. Like it's no coincidence that, again, people that are successful coaches, like they are reaching out for help. Like that's what you have to do. And it's a belief shift that maybe needs to happen for some people. I know growing up, sometimes it was harder to ask for help. But man, like you're gonna get to a point where you recognize just simply asking for help can save you 5 years of, wasted interest and
Yeah.
doing things that, people have already done.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you're not the first one doing this. Like there's so many people that have done it. They're further ahead. Just take that information, pay that money, even if you have to go into debt, because what's gonna happen is they're gonna literally show you. It's like playing any kind of game and you have the cheat codes. It's like you get it. Like there's success there already. You're just following what this person's doing. They're gonna show you and teach you how you got to do it. And lastly, with the sales, like you said, man, like that book, Grant Cardone, Sell or Be Sold, like our background, where we've come from having sales, like it's so important because, you have to be that person in order to have somebody that makes that decision. Like you said, like if you're somebody that takes their time on making decisions, how do you ever expect somebody on a call to make that decision immediately? If you can't do it, you're not doing it. You can't expect other people to do it. So much fire today, Mr. Dan. Like that was phenomenal stuff. And
Awesome.
those are some of the points I wanted to reiterate. So
Awesome. No, I think that's what these Q&A calls or not Q&A calls, but what these shows are about is giving you guys some value. helping you guys out on your journey. And as time goes on, give you guys as much knowledge so you can be the most successful within your life and business. So, Devyn, I think today's show is gonna get wrapped up. Unless you have any more else that you want to say.
Nothing else with regards to this. I think that was absolutely fire. For everybody else that's watching, if you did take something away, maybe post in the comments. What was something that you took away that you can start implementing today? Because we gave you lots of information. So we'd love to hear it. That's all for me, Mr. Dan.
Awesome, Devyn. Appreciate you, brother.
Sir.
And guys, have a wonderful day. Kick ass, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Sir. Peace.
Bye.